Hi there. Um, I don't really want to talk about my name and stuff, but I want to talk about something that has brought a huge change in my life. And it's a journey of my life and things that I've learned from my life, my past experiences, who I was before, from who I am today. I'm finding myself um, back to square one, I would say. I feel like I am being vulnerable right now, and so bear with me. It's a it's a holy ground. That I intend to become a citizen of, where I can be in a place where I feel held to feel my emotions, to see myself, to acknowledge what I am currently going through. So it's a place where things are going in a very slow frequency. Things are sensed, are felt, are seen, acknowledged, are held. And this is a place where I intend to be. I summon my energy to be. And this is the kind of energy that I want to create my life experiences from, a place of vulnerability, a place of being honest, a place where I feel bare and open to be as I am in whatever form or shape or size. However I'm feeling. So the whole thing, the intention of me opening up today, I wanted to talk about my life journey, what I've learned, what I'm learning, where I am. It all begins with the past, right? So in my past, I used to be coming from a place of a person who lacked the ability to be in a broader perspective in most cases. There was a phase, let's just say there was a phase in my life where I was just living and approaching and relating to life circumstances from a place that was fragmented from the whole reality of life, okay? Of what is life or what is happening in life. So I was one-sided, I was biased. And one thing that comparing to where I am right now, one thing I've noticed from my past ways of approaching life is how much of suffering I've created in my life unconsciously based on the belief systems that I had and being blind and not knowing. So I'm very much aware of that. And another thing I've come to realize that comparing to now, in the past, I mostly live in a place where I was fragile, where I was a victim to life circumstances, where I was hopeless in most cases, where I didn't know how to navigate things, where I felt like, I needed constant help, you know. And right now, I'm in an opposite state of mind, and one thing that I've come to understand about my past life is that my life was filled with a lot of shadows. I had a lot of pain in me that I wasn't even aware of, and the pain used to influence everything while I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware that my ways of seeing back then were mostly influenced by the past experience that I had that influenced my way of seeing. I wasn't aware that what you've been through have the power to influence your perception in life. So in the past, I was just going about and living life unaware of this information, and out of that I created a lot of fear-based experiences that were filled with pain and unawareness, lack of self-awareness, and a lack of understanding realities of life, lack of understanding that there's laws, understanding that there are shadows that are involved, that there's a state of clarity, again, broader perspective, that helps us to ground our energies and put us in a position of clarity to see things as they are, detached from the emotions and the sense of preferring things to go in a certain way, the need to have control over things. That kind of information was never there. I was just living life, oh my goodness, in a different world, basically, that was governed by the need to survive, the need to be in the right side of life, the need to appear perfect, to sound perfect, to do things in a certain way. There was a lot of a need to feel secured, safe, and protected, loved, seen, heard. This shadow was just, overwhelming and ruling my existence at the time. And I constantly experience a lot of sorrow, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering mentally, mentally most of the time, emotionally. There was a lot of sorrow, there was a lot of pain, confusions, that I couldn't at the time pinpoint the root cause of it. I yearned for freedom. I dreamed of a clear mind, of self-awareness, of understanding. Those things were my dreams. I dreamed of being in a place of consciousness where I am in charge, where I have the power to create the kind of life experience that I really wanted, out of freedom. I wanted to have all that kind of life, the inner peace, the inner strength, the joy, the freedom, being myself, being able to open up like this, to speak about whatever that I experience, and being in a place of no fear, no shame, no guilt, no need to cover anything. I yearned for those things. These were my biggest dream ever, in life. But these were dreams that were hidden, that I didn't speak to anyone of. Like, I didn't open up and say, you know what, I dream to be in a free world, in a free mind. I dream of living a happy life that is authentic happiness, authentic joy that comes from me being connected to my sense of self. I yearned, and when I saw, well, I didn't really see so much, I must say, to be honest. But it was a dream. This used to be a dream that I wanted to experience in this life. I yearned for, but I didn't know how to get there. In the meantime, I had a lot of challenging situation, that looking back from today in those moments, I could actually now see why I had to, experience those things there. It's very interesting because now things from where I am now, they are so clear. Like I understand, okay, back then my life was reigned by shadows. There was a lot of fragmented, distorted state of seeing unconsciousness running and ruling my life. Hence, I felt like confused and out of control and needing to have a control, lack of self-awareness, and constantly fueling the mind of being a victim of life would put me in a position of being controlled by shadows. Because the more, one thing I've learned, the more you choose to be a victim of life, the more you actually give your power to the shadows. Because coming into the state where you feel like a victim of life, it clearly shows that you haven't, you are not connected to that higher state, a state of higher seeing, of a higher consciousness, that where everything is interconnected and where everything is working together for the highest good. So being in a position where you feel like you are a victim of life circumstances, it just shows that you are not there yet. You haven't reached that, place. Or maybe you do experience, but it's not yet grounded in you. You have not embodied it, you're not living it. It may be something that you experience in small glimpses. And so shadow used to run my life, and I yearned so much and I suffered a lot. This was a inner suffering that I never involved anyone with. Never. It was between me and myself, basically. It affected my relationships. It affected my, my relationships, basically. Family, friends, everything. One thing, it affected my way of seeing. But the one thing that I was very good at, it was to hide it. I was very good at hiding my pain. Because I felt like it's nobody's business. It's my business to deal with it. So I never felt inclined to share, to talk about this. And I believe that is because of maybe my background, or maybe I was designed that way. But another thing that I want to highlight, even during those times of challenging, there was always this constant voice, that came in its own time, delivering messages, give me some kind of some enlightenment. But I feel like at the time when this inner voice would speak to me, I didn't really have enough understanding to grasp what it was saying. But then at the moment, at the time when it came, I would understand things. It feels like another dimension, another lens, or another part of me will receive the information and will understand it, and I will surrender to it. Then again, it felt like I have to continue to the journey, but it didn't mean that it has to take me away. Hence, I feel like it had to be that way, because it feels like to me, through all those life experiences, I was actually being molded. I was actually being prepared to the state that I am finding myself in now. But it had to be all those little glimpses of sense of being connected and grounded and unified with life as a whole. Like I had it in small glimpses, doses back then, from different experiences that were painful. Then in the end, I will find a light, in the end. But that light was not enough to sustain the sense of being grounded in the midst of that. I still felt like if I could have more, if I could have more of that light, if I could have more of that energy, that frequency that keeps me grounded, that makes me feel like, I'm open, my heart is open. It was something that used to come momentarily, and it would come and it didn't last for a long time. Hence, I strongly feel like, it did so because the foundation was not yet built at the time. It was still on the process of building the foundation of this energy of feeling unified and connected and grounded to life as a whole. But hence, I had to find myself time after time in different situations, where I would still feel a lot of suffering and confusion and lost, which at the moment I do feel, but I feel less, way, way less. And above all, there is this behind knowledge and understanding of what is happening. So even if I do feel confused about something, but there's a sense of awareness that is coming from me of what is happening, that backs me up, that supports me, that grounds me to even be more open to what is happening, even the confusion itself. Whereas in the back, I felt like, I was on my own. Like I was just in it by myself, and it was once in a while then this voice will come and give me show me a way out, and then again, then I'll go back to the dark again. Having hope and wanting, wishing and desiring to have that, guidance all the time with me. Whereas now I am actually living with the guidance. I'm living with that. I'm living in that dimension of light. I don't feel darkness now covering my life. I can experience a moment of dark, yet within the experience of darkness there's a huge sense of self-awareness of what is happening, emotionally, mentally. I'm aware of my own narrative story. I have so much information of what is taking place, whereas at the time I lacked all of this information. And I feel like because of lack of self-awareness and all this information and insight and wisdom, I suffered. I suffered because I didn't have it. Because it is true, the wisdom, the knowledge, the light, the insights that came from those, painful things, that I can feel ready to meet life, where I can feel like everything, is okay, everything is working together. This knowledge came from picking up the patterns, of life and how life unfolds and the ups and downs and what actually is being delivered by the ups and downs into a human soul, where we are being matured to get to the state of fullness, of wholesomeness, and being connected and grounded to life as it is, where we feel empowered to be ourselves, where we feel like we are ready to meet life where it is, where we are fearless and we're not afraid of anything. We are not coming from a place of fearing of what's gonna, or just being ashamed, all these kind of things, or insecure of ourselves. we are so free. There's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of authentic freedom that comes with the knowledge of how things come to be. It is the knowledge that we have come to understand that came from those small glimpses of light that has put us in a position of self-awareness and of believing in ourselves. Like, I believe now in myself. I believe in my own power, and I know my own light. I know my own power. I know who I am, and and because of that knowledge and believing, self-belief, I can actually, be willing to meet life with ease and grace. And yes, I could still feel, big shifts of energies when there once in a while or something. But with this information that I have, it has liberated me not to put myself in a position where I am a victim now. I feel like, oh, okay, that's what I was actually, that was missing in the past. That, I in the past there was so much darkness, and out of the darkness I positioned myself in a position of being a victim. Out of victim, I experienced life the way I experience, suffering, pain. Everybody is out to get you, kind of a mentality. Things are happening to me, not for me. Whereas now things are happening for me. Things are working together for my highest good. Nothing is there to get me. People are acting out of their own state of mind, whatever it is. And I'm also, and also above all else, one thing that has liberated me, I have a free will. I can choose how I want to see anything. I can choose how I want to respond, how I want to relate, how I want to approach, conduct myself under any given. That's a freedom. That's a free will. I in the past didn't have that knowledge that I can choose things. I am actually constantly choosing how I want to see life, how I want to experience life, and I have the power to co-create, with the universe, yes, let's just call it universe. It's given to me. But also I feel like it's a journey that you go through in order to get to where I am right now. And I feel like it was necessary. Like, hence I can be in a position where I feel like what has taken place was necessary, because through all those things that has taken place were actually the seeding of the energy that I am experiencing now, and the yearning of me wanting to have what I'm having now, which is this authentic joy and happiness and sense of being grounded to life. It was actually the fruit that I was meant to experience. So I feel like then my soul knew this. Hence, I had this dream. I had the dream that I knew that one way or another, I was born to experience greatness. I knew it. I had an inner knowing that I am of greatness. I'm above things. Like, I knew that I have the power to, but I just couldn't figure out how to do that, how to embody it, how to apply it. Do you understand? In my life. But I felt it intuitively. I knew that I meant to experience beautiful life, like beautiful mind, beautiful heart, a beautiful soul, beautiful experiences, regardless of what. And if I'm being honest enough, I as a child, that's what I remember. I went through things, but I was not suffering. It felt like when I was a child, I had the time to experience this greatness, to know it, experience it, to feel it. Then there was a phase, a period where it was like a dark hour, where you don't even know nothing, where you're in confusion, where you don't even know how to create it. And it feels like for me, you incarnate, your soul incarnate, and then you get to experience this, but then you get to that sleep moment where you don't know anymore. You're just wishing and hoping, but also something in you tells you that it's part of who you are, but you just don't know how to put that in reality, how to put that in perspective, and how to experience it, how to manifest it. And then you somehow have to learn through this life experience that you're going through how to harness again your powers to create that. You have to learn. So all these things you are getting, they're actually gifting you. Hence I'm calling them, they were seeding this. So they're giving you the opportunity. Hence I call them platform for personal growth. Because they were painful, they were challenging, they were hard. Yes, it's true. But out of them, they gave you the platform for personal growth, for maturity, for self-discovery, for becoming more self-aware, for becoming more self-accountable, self-responsible of your own emotions, your energies, your ways of seeing, how you relate to things, how you choose to approach, position yourself in any situation. Do you understand? So I feel like as much they were all hard and challenging and really painful and traumatizing, still they came with another part to give you that platform where you can actually use the same pain into a positive thing to create something that is going to be sustainable, that is going to work for you, that is going to support you, is going to work for you basically. So there's some things that I've learned about life so far, and I'm in a position now. I'm very much aware now. That was the past, and now I'm in a present moment. I'm in a place of freedom of experiencing all the dreams that I wanted to have. I'm actually living my dreams right now when it comes to mentally, emotionally. I have so much inner peace. I have so much sense of being conscious and being self-aware, sense of presence and being grounded to life as it is. There's a lot of, freedom, a lot of freedom. There is a lot of ease now in my life. And there's a beautiful energy that is like, I feel taken care. I feel like there's an energy that I trust that is always forever there for me in any case, as long as I'm willing to ask for help, look for guidance. Like everything is here, basically. Everything is here in my mind. Feels like an old software has been taken away and put in new software, and I had to learn how to embody this software, which at times, there are sometimes I'm still learning. I'm not a perfect, but it is perfect for me because it is what I wanted to experience for many years, and I find myself in a position where I'm experiencing that. I'm no longer afraid of things, of situations, of people. I'm no longer afraid to voice myself, to speak my needs, to communicate what I truly want to experience. I'm no longer afraid to hold space for my own emotions. Things do not bother me as much they used to bother me. I have my own method of dealing with everyday life stresses, which works a lot for me, and it is amazing to finally have those powers, abilities to have the ability to navigate stressful situation where in the end it renders you being fulfilled with yourself and life as a whole. I feel like that's a magical thing ever, because I know I didn't experience in the past for a longest time, and coming from a background where I was hopeless, and I didn't know if things I can make them. I didn't trust myself, I didn't believe myself, and here I am. I believe in who I am. And above all else, I've learned to love myself, which, to be honest, is the source of everything. I feel like I was taught how to love myself, to love myself, because all this self-belief and sense of being grounded comes with choosing yourself over and over, choosing to side by your feelings, by your sentiments, by your ways of seeing, and not judging yourself, not criticizing yourself, choosing to see the voice of the need to criticize, to be aware and hold space for it. Just fully being present within yourself, to acknowledge what you are currently thinking, what you are feeling, what you are seeing, what you are sensing, the narratives that are coming through your head. that grounding, that actually taught me, how to love. That basically was a way of teaching me, because for me that is love, when I can hold space for what I'm feeling, when I'm open to look at myself in the mirror and acknowledge where I am right now and what I'm feeling. For me that is self-love. That's self-honoring. You're honoring yourself, and it has really done so much, because it has liberated so much. I feel so liberated by life, and I feel like now I'm in a position where I'm one with life. I'm in unity with life, with everything that is happening. Again, I feel like life is a gift. In the past, life was didn't, and I didn't have that capacity to see life as a gift. It was a torture because of the lack of self-awareness. And now with the self-awareness, I see the beauty now in life. I see the meaning. I see, how everything is just working together in harmony with ease and grace, and there's no need to do anything. There's no need to force things, and no need to try to create a scene, to pretend to make some kind of story so that people can, approve of you, validate you, or like you. There's no need to do anything. Like, I can just be myself, and I'm comfortable being myself and doing what I'm doing. I don't have to think about anything about anyone. When I have to make any decision, when I have to think about, I don't have to think. Those thoughts are seen. I'm in a place where I can see those, concept mindsets where you have to think about certain things. And I am now in a position where I can tell, okay, those are patterns of the old ways, and I can actually, put the new patterns, where I am the one who's creating my own life experience, what I want to think about, what is it that I feel about myself. Forget about what others, what they are thinking, what is the world saying, what I am thinking, what I want to feel right now. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that, this whole journey has given to me, which is to love myself unconditionally, regardless of what, without holding back, without trying to fit in, without trying to create a scene, and be in a place where I'm being unapologetic about, who I am, regardless, and also to have that inner strength to meet the challenges of the world, criticism and being called names and stuff, just because you are standing up for what you truly believe, and being an outcast because you are different. Do you understand? But I think one of the things that used to make me afraid was the fear of being criticized and called names, because I just didn't have a method of how to deal with it. I didn't know how to work with that. I didn't have a sense of self-worth and being enough to stand up for myself and stand on my feet and my ground for whatever that I believe to be true to myself. So I've learned to overcome that. People can criticize, they can call me names, they can say whatever they have in their mind. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't move me, because it feels like I've dealt with that demon from within, that shadow, because again, we mirror each other as human people. So we mirror each other, the state of mind we are currently living and functioning from. So if someone comes to me and start calling me names, it's just they are actually revealing some part of my world that I used to live in, and I have, surpassed those of kind of like outgrown them, so I can actually say, oh, okay, I see you, I understand where you're coming from. And I don't have to take things personally, because I know that all of us are in our own unique journeys, and based on the information that we have, the wisdom, the insight, it determines where we are and how we're experiencing life. So if we have not learned certain lessons in life, we won't be able to see things in the same way. And hence, the world is the world that we are living in today. So that's what I wanted to share and hold space for, and I'm grateful that I did. I love being in this position where I can be myself, and I do. I mean, that's one thing that self-love has taught me. Just love yourself enough to hold space for you to be yourself. To a point, I'm able now to hold myself in a very chaotic situation, and things that, back in the past would actually sway my emotions and take away my focus. And now I am able, strong enough and resilient enough to withstand those things and to see right through illusions, and know my own energy and the kind of intentions that I have and what I want to create. So it is truly an honor, coming back from a place where I used to be insecure, and anybody, could come up with something and I'll easily, follow their ways without ever thinking and considering what I truly want. And now I'm in a position where I'm like, I want this. This is what feels good to me. This is what I resonate with my heart. And that's what I'm opening myself up. If anyone comes in around me and they show up with a different energy that does not resonate with me, I am aware that that's just not what I'm going to settle for, because that's not aligning with who I want to, the kind of energy I want to experience. Do you understand? That's a very powerful thing that I've learned, because back then, I was very gullible, and I could just follow anyone's idea. It was just everywhere, everywhere. And I feel like I have a backbone, in a sense, backbone that is based on my own authenticity, and not trying to fit in, not trying to be anybody's favorite, not trying to be anybody's good shoes, or good notes, not trying to be anything, just simply being, simply being in my own beingness and allowing what needs to be expressed right now. So I feel like that vessel that holds space for the unseen to express itself freely. Whereas in the past, I used to question myself. I used to question my own creativity. I used to question my own abilities. I used to question everything. Like, I didn't feel enough. I didn't feel like I was worth it. I feel like some other people, yes, but not me. That's what used to happen in the past. Whereas now, I know what I deserve. I know what is aligned with me. I know what I want, and I know how to go for it, and go create it. I know how to create what I want to experience without having to be validated by anyone or ask anyone to forget. No, no, no. I've learned, to go within and listen to my heart and just do things that I truly want to experience in this world. That's one thing I've learned as well. So let's leave, and yeah, leave it here. Thank you.